Greetings, this is This and I'm Me, and this puzzle, I bought this puzzle because I was looking at these Hanayama cast puzzles and I was like trying to find a new one to get, right? And the past ones that I've done this one, I've done, I don't know where it is right now, but I have the square one, which I think was also a level 6 that I've done, and you know, they were good, but they were like a little easy, I thought. They would usually just fall apart, right? And so I wanted a real challenge. So I was looking at the puzzles, and level 6 is the highest. So I was looking at the level 6 options, and everyone was saying that this specific puzzle was the most difficult out of all of them. Everybody was talking this puzzle up so much. So I got it, okay? And according to the back of the picture here, I have it currently in the put together like setup, right? Okay, so let's just break this right down here, okay? The amount of time it took me to get this whole thing apart, not very long. Probably at most 2 hours, and I took the whole thing apart. I was kind of fiddling with it here and there. Then putting it back together, I got it a little bit put back together, and then I got stuck, and so I just put it away for a very long time. And then just in the past, like 2 days, I've been trying to finish putting it back together. Boy, was that a doozy, because guess what, guys? I finally got it put back together. But then I had to, you know, repeat the process over and over again so that I could do the how-to video, you know what I was talking about, know how to do it, know what was happening. And so I tried to take it back apart again, and I could not get it back apart. And then I got it back apart, but I could not get it back together. And then I was writing down all the steps so that I wouldn't, you know, mess anything up. And I somehow did something wrong, and I couldn't figure out what. And the whole thing was, I was just stuck going in a loop. I couldn't find out anything different to do for the longest time, and I was going absolutely insane, crazy. Like this entire day, I've been trying to accomplish one step. Like I knew everything I needed to do. I had it all written down. I just couldn't accomplish it. And so it's very late at night now, but I did figure it out, guys. I have it in the bag now. So first, we're going to go through the disassembly process. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys how to take this apart, and if you have it in this setup, you'll be fine. Just follow what I do, okay? I'm going to try to be very in-depth about it, and if you don't have it like this, hopefully somewhere along the line, like along the way, you will see this looking like yours looks, okay? And then you can just jump in from there. Okay, I actually decided to change the angle. So the audio is probably worse, but the view is a bajillion thousand times better. I never film from this angle because it's harder to film from this angle. It's harder to have to reach around a camera tripod and to see around a camera than it is to have the camera on the other side of me, but none of that matters. Okay, this, you guys can see it way, way, way better now. So yes, this is the original starting position, and if you don't have it in this position, just hopefully along the way you can find a position that matches the way that yours is. But first things first, what I want to do, I don't remember if I already described the pieces before I changed the camera angle or not. So this piece right here is what I call the paw, because if you put it this way, which is the way I actually want you to put it, it looks kind of like a paw, right? Like there's like the little toe pads, and this is like the heel part. Okay, so this is the paw, and there's an inside gap and an outside gap. Outside gap is on the edge. The inside gap is enclosed inside of it, okay? And then we have this spirally piece. I'm going to be calling this the tail. And then we have this other piece. Let me put this back like that for a second. We have this other piece right here that I'm going to try and hold in this general orientation the entire time. This is like the base piece that I don't move around. I move these two pieces around this base piece, okay? So I'll try to keep this in this direction. I'll also call this the tail of this piece. And then right here is the track, okay? All of the pieces are going to be moving around near this track a lot of the times. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is take the paw and switch it around so it's this way, okay? And then you can see this outside gap right here. We're going to move this along this track. So we're going to do that by making the paw stand up straight, lining up the gap, and sliding it around. Okay? Now we have that on this side. Next, I want this piece and this tail to go through this big hole over here. This hole that my finger is going through right now. So you can't really fit them both through there right now. It doesn't really, they don't mesh. It doesn't work. So what you need to do is you need to take this piece, this big long piece, and twirl it around. So we're going to twirl it backwards and around and up, okay? So now these two pieces are a lot closer together, and this piece can fit right around them. Use your thumb, pop it through. Okay, now this paw piece is on the other side of this piece. What we want to do next is we want to take this inside gap right here down at the bottom. See that inside gap? And run it along this track. So line that up, run it along the track, and now it is over here on this side. So now we have this piece, the main piece, and then this paw piece down here. Okay? What I want you to do next is take this swirly piece, move it back down towards your table again, and then over this way. So it's now crossing across this way, okay? And hold it like that. So now we want to take our paw piece, and we're actually going to switch this around like this, okay? So it's, I keep wanting to say upside down, but this actually looks right side up if you're thinking of it as a paw. We want that right side up. We want this outside gap over towards the left. And we're going to take this long part right here and have it go in front and then behind, okay? So it's going over this first part of the paw piece, but then it's going behind this bar, okay? Keep it just like that. Now we're going to rotate the paw piece again. It's a little finicky, but there, rotate it all the way around so it's now this direction, okay? Now, this is the part I struggle with a bajillion times, so please, please bear with me for a moment, okay? I think what I want to do is take this big piece right here, and I'm going to push the tail back around and up, like so. Okay, yes, this is what I want, I think. And now this piece has a gap as well. So you can see that gap. We're going to run that along this track also. I had the paw like this. What you actually want to do is jiggle this over so that before this portion was resting in this sort of divot, I want it to be resting in the divot in between the two, like, you know, thumbprints. Okay, so have it resting in that divot, and now we're going to have this gap thread through here. Trust me, it will work this time. I just tried it. Okay, yes, there. You have that slide through that track. Beautiful. Now, I know, things are weird, things are complicated, but just let me think for a second. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the paw piece right here. We're going to scooch it under there, okay? So see now, I have my pieces lined up. I have this piece separate from this piece. They're both hanging on the edge of this thing, okay? See? Like a keychain. Now I can very easily take this piece, the paw piece, and it's complicated, guys, because I have to remember how to take it apart and how to put it back together. So sometimes I get them confused and I end up going back in reverse order. Okay, so what we're going to want to do next is find the inside gap of the paw piece and slide it along this track back in that direction. Okay, guys, you are so close. It's almost done. Now we're going to take the tail of this up here and we're going through this hole, okay? And then we're still working with the paw piece right now. Just let the other piece hang there. Rotate your paw so that this gap lines up with the track. Slide it on that. Boom. You have one piece off. I know. Amazing, right? Now this other piece, You're just going to, there's a way that you can slide it on right here. Don't do that, okay? Do not do that. Instead, you're going to want this to be over here, okay? But you can't just turn it over like that. It doesn't work. So what you have to do is you have to kind of, I'm pushing it down and around, and we're going to go back up. So kind of just keep wiggling it. Yes, keep wiggling it down and up until it will shimmy around this weird shape. There we go. And then you have it back up on this side with this thing right over here, like I said, and then we're going to arch this right over like that. Now the gap is once again lined up with the track, but in the opposite direction, bringing around the track, and look, they are apart, okay? That's how you take it apart. I know this is taking forever, and I'm sorry that it's taking forever, but this is how long it takes, guys. Now, to put it back together, take your main piece. You're just going to hold it the way you've been holding it, okay? Take this piece, if you remember from 2 seconds ago, when we took it apart, you're going to bring it up from the bottom. Line up the gap with the track, and slide it on, okay? Then, in exact reverse order, we're going to swing this back around this way. Then we're going to do the shimmy shimmy again, okay? Shimmy this around until you get it back to the other side. Like that. Then we can then we just leave it, okay? So you have it hanging here and you're leaving it. Remember the whole keychain situation? We're leaving it like that for now. You can let it drop like this, but then it kind of gets in the way. So I try to hold it like in an upright position so that it's tucked to the side as much as possible. Now we're going to take our paw piece again, and the outside gap, we're going to thread right along the track. Okay? Then we are rotating the paw so that it is laying down sideways, because we're going to bring this tail through this gap. Okay, following it the way that it is, the bottom gap down there is going to run right along this track. Okay, now we have both of our pieces over here hanging on this like a keychain, remember, like I had said before. Okay, now we're bringing the paw back towards this tail, but we're not sliding it along the track this time. We're going through this big hole, okay? And just leave it over here for now. Because then we're going to want to take this piece and guide that gap along the track over this way. And then these two pieces might be fighting each other to slide it back that way. Just wiggle them around a little bit while keeping them in the same general area there. And so see, you can get them. So now we have both of the pieces over here. One right next to the other. Okay, now this part gets a little tricky. This is, the sort of tricky section where we were when we were taking it apart. We're now back to that, but we're putting it back together. So you want the paw to be back on this side. You want it to be past this spiral. It's on the wrong side right now. So we have to try to bring it back. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to thread this part of the spiral one through the big hole. And in order to do that a little easier, you want to take the tail of this and bring it back towards the ground a little bit. Okay, so now this part can go right through here a little easier. I'm sorry that I keep twirling everything, but that's kind of what happens. Okay, so see how it has passed through that hole? See, it is on the other side. So I'm holding this piece pretty much straight up and down. It's sideways, but vertical, I guess. And we're actually going to take the big spirally piece and bring the tail back that way. Scooch it back that way. Spiral it around, okay? And as we spiral it around, these two pieces should sort of look like they're crossing over one another. We can take the paw and we can rotate it around here again. Okay, and now these two pieces really look like they're in an X position. What you want to do is you want to take the tail of this, bring it back towards the surface, so that it's around this direction, and then bring the paw right back out of here. Okay? Now we have it looking like this. We're almost there. Now, you see this gap right here? We want to take that and slide it along the track. So hold this in this direction and slide it along the track. Once again, these two pieces at this corner are going to be a little finicky. Just scooch them however you can, jiggle it around, maybe move this back a little bit, move this forward. Okay. And you've slid this paw piece along that track. I think we only have one more step. Actually, okay, I lied. We have two more steps. Now we want this big gap to have these two things pass through it. You remember at the very beginning we did this, but in reverse order. Now last time we had to switch this around so that these two pieces would be close together and so that they would fit through the hole, but it's already the right way. This time you want this sticking up. Just guide these two through here. It helps if you use your hand to push it through. Okay, good. Now we have it that way. Now, it's going to look like a finangled mess, but that doesn't matter because all you need to do now is take this gap right here and thread it along this track, okay? And so you might have to wiggle this piece around a little bit to give yourself more leeway, more room. But, okay. I like to just grip the main piece and then wiggle these other pieces around a little bit until, okay, there we go. See how I made it close enough? So this should be spiraled up this much, I guess. And then you just thread this along here. And if you'll notice, if we turn it back upright, it's all put back together the right way. Okay? So there you have it. I'm so sorry if you ever got stuck during any part of this and you were unbelievably frustrated because trust me, that was me. I literally have accomplished nothing else today because I was trying to get this completely, figured out and everything. I hope that helped you. I don't have anything else to say. I'm sorry that the background is weirdly like a weird like pinkish skin tone, kind of like my hands. That's kind of creeping me out instead of the normal white background, but my puzzle was on the table and I didn't want to move it because it's so late at night. So I just put this sheet here. So, sorry, and that the audio is bad, sorry. But I hope this helped. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye now.